Jessica, I've got your work up here. Thank you so much for submitting. Let's go ahead and take a look. I've got enough here that I don't need to open the JPEG, but thank you very much for including that JPEG. I think I've got enough right here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to explain and describe the importance of keeping abreast with the course announcements. And the reason I say this, Jessica, I don't know if you took a look at the email I sent out Friday morning. But I ran some statistics and some tests in the class, and I found a really interesting correlation between grades and those students who are reviewing the course announcements. So let me show you the course announcements. I'm not sure if you're in here every day and if you're looking at all of these course announcements, but what I did is I just ran a comparison between students who are reviewing all of these announcements and grades, and it appears though it's very obvious that students are keeping up with the course announcements, seem to be doing much better in the class. So I'm not sure if you're keeping up with this with the announcement, but if you're not, you definitely want to. It's a great way to improve your grades. Statistic proof shows that. So at any rate, I just wanted to mention that these are really important, all of these announcements. And inside these announcements, not only is there a textual information as well as links and outside resources and all sorts of goodies, but there's also several tutorials. For example, in the Welcome to Week 2 announcement, there are 4 video tutorials in there, and likewise there's tutorials in all of these. But you want to get in here when you have time every week, preferably very early in the week before you start any of the assignments, and review all of the video tutorials, etc. It's really important, and I can pretty much guarantee it's going to raise your grades based on those statistics that I looked at this morning. So be sure to do that. Now, in this Welcome to Week 2 announcement, I have a video tutorial in there on how to kern fire and ice. So it's blow by blow. It's right in there. And also there is a document that I use, and I've opened that document. And the reason this is significant is because I kerned that myself, and I spaced that myself, and I took some time doing it so that I could use this as a really good comparison for you guys. And let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to move this above your work, and let's go ahead and take a look. Now, the first thing we see is your craft is pretty good, but not great, okay? So your letter forms seem to be tapering out at the vertical stem. So there's a bow right here indicating, and this is bowed right here, like almost like the serifs start up too high in the letter form. So the vertical stroke here is not showing consistency in its weight. So you definitely want to improve that. And again, through here, same thing through here. And a couple of the other letter forms, same thing right through here with the C. Look how much thicker that C is than what's depicted here. So you definitely really want to pay attention. Watch the tail of the E. This seems to kind of reach out a little bit high, farther to the right, and a little bit higher than this one. Kind of is kind of a snub nose here. It got kind of cut off there. So definitely want to depict that. Now, I also want to talk about overshoot. Now, overshoot is covered in week 2. Overshoot dictates that round letter forms should reside above or below the baseline and the mean line respectively. I'm sorry, above the mean line and baseline respectively, right? So we can see overshoot here on the E and on the top of the E and on the bottom of the E. So you definitely want to depict that. Now also note overshoot on the ascender for the lowercase d. Notice overshoot on the serif. I'm sorry, the ascender for the serif on the lowercase d, and then also the baseline serif on the lowercase d, as well as the mean line serifs for the lowercase I and the lowercase r. So you definitely want to depict your overshoot. Now, as far as your spacing, whoops, I didn't want to do that. Right here, your spacing looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I would say your spacing is really excellent here, but a couple of this space between the C and the E is a little bit wide. This almost looks like IC belongs together and E is separate. Okay, now my final recommendation is the actual space between the E and the A in fire and. Okay, this little open counter here and this open counter here are kind of adding a little bit of a optical illusion here, then indicating there's more space here than there is here. So you want to accommodate for that. Remember that was covered in week 1. That's how we kern open counter curved letter forms closer to accommodate for those that added surface area. And the same thing can be said for word spacing as well. So you want to just bring that a little bit closer just so it doesn't look like and is grouped together with ice. Okay? All right, great. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. And Jessica, I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. But I would like to see those recommendations reflected in your final submission. Okay? All right, great. Thank you very much.